So I've been listening to, obviously, all the political stuff on Fox today and all the different analysts, and they're talking about the campaigns. One of the things they've talked about a lot today is about how Harris is making all these statements and about how Trump isn't fiscally responsible. And they had an analyst come on and he said, yeah, his whole campaign promise that he's not going to tax Social Security for senior citizens is a bad policy and we can't sustain it. Let me go ahead and jump on that one. First of all, I'm not speaking without knowledge, firsthand knowledge. Years ago, just to preface this, years ago, I worked on federal contract in federal building doing security right outside the Social Security Administration office that was right in the federal building downtown Columbus, Ohio. So I've seen and I've talked to people and I know firsthand what has taken place with Social Security for decades. This isn't new, but this is what has been going on. So one of the big arguments about illegal immigration is the overwhelming of social services. What's aggravating, and this is why I have zero tolerance, I don't care what the excuse is, I just don't care. You come to our country illegally, you expect us to care for you. When they do that, they come in and illegals get Social Security like that. They don't have to have a Social Security number. They don't have to have a disability. They don't have to have anything because they're foreign and because they're here without a Social Security number. They give them Social Security checks. And I'm not talking a small ordeal. I mean, last I heard, they get somewhere in the proximity of like $3,600 a month from Social Security. And they've never paid a fucking dime into it. They said today, you know, we can't sustain not taxing senior citizens on their Social Security. First of all, why in the fuck would you be taxing me on something I've paid into you for decades, that you hold my money, you make interest off of it, you're not paying me the interest, and you don't give me an option of not paying Social Security. You can't opt out of it. What it is legalized robbery. And then down the road, you tell me, oh, well, you know, oh, well, you only get X amount of money. If you make too much money, then you get penalized. I shouldn't get penalized for you holding my fucking money for decades. I mean, realistically, I'm going to do the math here in a little bit. I thought about it earlier, but I've been paying into Social Security since I was about 15. On average, you pay about 100 to 115 bucks a pay period, a pay week, into Social Security. At least. That's minimum. If you took it from the time I'm 15 to now, that's 35 years of paying in. That's 52 weeks a year. Give or take a few times when I was a younger man and wasn't working. That being said, that's a shitload of money. And you're telling me you've held my money. The whole premise of Social Security, let me back up for a second. The whole premise of it was you pay into it. The government makes interest off of it that grows this giant fund that later down the road you get paid back your money out of it when you're of age to collect Social Security. What's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with the picture is that for decades, for generations, they've been allowing illegal citizens to come into our country, collect Social Security for free. They're not paying into it. They overwhelm that fund that Americans have paid into, that if you or I were in a situation where you were in dire straits, you were in financially hard times, and you went to Social Security and said, I'd like to collect some of my Social Security to help get through this tough time, they would tell you to go pound sand because you're not old enough and you're not qualified. It's your money that they hold and gain interest off of. But you can't get it because you're a legal citizen with a social security number and you're the one that actually pays into it. But let you be illegal and come here and they give it to you for free and they give you a hell of a lot more than they give to normal Americans. And you wonder why Social Security won't be here when we get to the age that we can finally collect it. That's what they said. In 10 to 15 years, it will be insolvent. And then you tell me on top of that, it's a ridiculous policy to not tax Social Security because we can't sustain it. Here's a fucking idea. Take all the foreigners off of fucking Social Security, for starters. And before you ever go and put another $1 billion into another fucking country, put it back in Social Security. Every dime you ever took from the American people. And then don't pay it out to illegals and don't pay it out to people who didn't fucking earn it. I also know a lot of fat fucks that are lazy, that sit at home and collect Social Security because they have anxiety. So do I, motherfucker. It's called going to work. It's called dealing with public all fucking day long. I got anxiety too. I got PTSD like a motherfucker from a lot of things in life. I don't get to cop out and sit on a fucking couch and just collect a check. So I don't feel sorry for anybody like that. A legit disability, I can see them helping someone. They make plenty of interest off of it with the Fed. But I think it's crazy to hear someone say that if we don't tax senior citizens on their Social Security, that it's a failed policy and we can't sustain it. Motherfucker, they already paid that money. You shouldn't get to pay it. You shouldn't get to tax them at all. In fact, you should be paying them dividends off the interest that you made annually. How many senior citizens that make it to the age to collect it, in all the years that they don't get to because they don't make it that far, how much would they get if they actually got back a cut of the dividends you made off of their money? It's our money. To hear someone say that not taxing people on their Social Security is nuts. No, what's nuts is you taxing me on money that I gave to you to hold that you gained interest off of. That's what's fucking nuts. And giving it away to people that don't belong here, that's fucking nuts. That's a fucking screwed up policy. And many Americans don't understand that. I hear these bleeding hearts liberals that are like, oh, they're not illegal when they're, yeah, if you came across the border without proper paperwork, you're illegal. Go to any other country and you go do that and see if they don't call you illegally entering their country. But these bleeding hearts want to go, oh, well, you know, we got to help them. We got to help them. Then fine, do it on your fucking dime. I hear a whole lot of people do a whole lot of fucking talking, and not many people would stand up and do a fucking thing. I don't see them putting their wallet on it. I don't see them put their ass on the line for anything. You say you have rights, but you only have rights because other people put their ass on the line, not you. So, next time you hear something about illegal immigration, not for the people who are of my mindset. For anyone else who doesn't like that we call them illegals and someone else doesn't like the policies the way they are, just remember, this is just one aspect financially of how they overwhelm our social services for people who have lived here, worked here, paid into it, and you take away from people that are already here. I don't feel sorry for you. And I don't want to hear someone in their bullshit bleeding heart stuff about how we're heartless. Let the government pay us back what they take and don't allow us to have a different option. And stop giving it to fucking illegals. I don't feel sorry for illegals. Get the fuck out.